Coming up on the CHGO Cubs podcast, the Cubs dropped 2 of 3 in Houston. Cubs offense broke out on Saturday, and then it was completely gone today. Sunday scaries, you might call it that. A lot to discuss. Me and Kevin Wells coming up next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs podcast driven by Toyota. Let's go places and bet 365, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary. Use code CHGO365 at sign up. Happy Sunday. Cody Delmendo, joined by co-host / producer Kevin Wells.
What's up, guys? What's happening?
A little different show here in studio today. Had some miscommunication. No Luke Stuckmeyer, but it's okay. We're figuring it out, Kevin. So
I don't mind this.
Yeah,
I don't mind this look.
Cubs lose 2-0 in Houston series finale. Cubs drop 2 of 3 in Houston. Cubs go 3-4 on the road trip, I believe. Yeah, 3-4 on the road trip. 49-35 with an off day tomorrow. Obviously, we got a lot to talk about related to the series and some other stuff. We obviously have to talk about Cam Smith, Isaac Paredes, and the Kyle Tucker trade, of course. But let's start with the game recap. Kevin, I don't really know where to start other than, like, I want to start with just the Astros because the Astros kind of they showed why they've been an elite team over the last decade. How many ALCS appearances they've had over the years, just consistency. They trade Kyle Tucker and they let Alex Bregman go, and here they are at the top of the AL West, and it is what it is. They're a really good team, and they showed it today. With Framber Valdez being who Framber Valdez is. And then, Abreu came in for them and got the big outs when they needed him. Hader came in, hasn't blown a save all season. And it's just they shut down the Cubs offense today. I think the Cubs offense being shut down today is the story. Jameson Taillon was better than his last 2 starts, but didn't go deep enough, and he still managed to give up a homer. I think there's a lot to discuss. Related to Taillon and the amount of it and Counsell leaving him in as long as he did, how the 7th inning went down, leadoff double, you don't score. I really don't know where to start. Where would you like to start, Kevin?
Well, I mean, for one, this seemed like a series, Cody, that it really highlighted all of the Cubs' issues and roster holes and roster alignment and depth issues. And I think that happens against good teams, and there's still time to correct it. So the sky is not falling right now. I want to make that clear. This Houston Astros team, if you look at their splits and you look at their starting rotation and their bullpen, it's the best bullpen in baseball. Yeah. It's the Padres and the Astros. The Astros have allowed hardly any runs this year. It's really hard to score on this team. Look what they just did to the Phillies before the Cubs got into town. Shut them out twice. The Phillies, a healthy Phillies lineup, shut them out twice and only gave up.
Was Harper back?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe he was back. But they had also, in the one game that they won, the Phillies, they lost, but they scored 1 run. So they scored 1 run in 3 games. And the Cubs lit them up for 11 yesterday. It's just not too bad. Framber Valdez is just...
there's a reason there's a reason I wanted the Cubs to get him at the deadline if Houston wasn't going to be good this year, which I don't know about you. I know I wasn't the only one. I thought Houston could, take a step back this year, considering, like I already said, let Bregman walk. They trade Tucker. But they've had a lot of production from guys that you probably didn't expect from.
This Houston pitching staff leads Major League Baseball in strikeouts by a wide margin. So if you saw a lot of strikeouts today and a lot of weak contact, just know that yeah, the Cubs have some work to do roster-wise. They're going to have to figure out how to hit lefties. They're going to have to go out and make acquisitions to make the bench deeper, because today you pinch hit guys and you started 2 guys that, quite frankly, aren't going to win you these big games in the postseason. They're just not going to. Vidal, Brujan, John Birdie, and Justin Turner. We've talked about it all year, but these are the types of series when you go up against elite pitching staffs, you need to have a deep bench to come on and hit against pinch hitters and give you productive at-bats, or at least productive outs, because you didn't even get productive outs when you needed to when guys were on base today. So Houston leads the league in strikeouts, 823 of them. That's like 70 more than the Yankees, who are in second place. This team strikes a ton of guys out. Their average hitters against, only hitting 220. That's second in baseball, only behind the Yankees. So this is a really good pitching staff, and it was a really tough series, and you took it on the chin today. I liked what I saw yesterday. Friday was a game you could have had. You just, you're going to have to deal with the ups and downs of rookie pitchers. Cade didn't pitch well at all on Friday, and you lose the series, and day off tomorrow, get back home. Yeah. It was tough, though. I'm not going to lie. Today was a frustrating game to watch.
It was for sure a frustrating game, and that's my overall thoughts. I haven't said hello to the live YouTube chat, so I apologize.
Yeah, what's up,
hello
guys?
to everyone in the chat. I see a lot of comments. We got 2 Toyota Super Chats. One from Steven, who's always sending us Super Chats, so thank you, Steven. Brujan is Spanish for brutal. What a useless MFer. Okay.
I'm not going to go that far.
With that one, let's go to the 7th inning. It starts with Carson Kelly, with Valdez still in the game, by the way. It starts with Carson Kelly getting a leadoff double, and then Horner hits one of the weirdest balls I've ever seen that Altuve doesn't catch. They originally ruled it an error and then changed it to a hit, whatever. So you got first and second with nobody out, and Craig Counsell goes with Michael Busch to pinch it for Turner, which made sense because that's when they pulled Valdez. They brought in Abreu, a right-handed pitcher. And Michael Busch has been awesome, especially here in June. Pops out on the infield. To me, I see a lot of Brujan slander. And listen, I'll get to it. But you got one of your best hitters at the plate, and he pops out. I know we're 0 outs in the inning, but that's an example of sometimes how this team doesn't hit well situationally. You got 2 guys on. They just brought in a new pitcher, and it felt like the one time in this game where you actually could have done some damage, and one of your best hitters at the plate, he did nothing. He's been awesome overall, and I'm not really truly complaining about him as a player overall. It's just that's a frustrating moment when you have one of your better hitters at the plate and he didn't come through. So he doesn't come through. He doesn't even move the runners over because he pops out on the infield. And then Brujan comes to the plate. Now, he pinch hits for John Birdie. I know in the moment when we were sitting over there watching the game, you would have liked them to just leave Birdie in. My thing is, why not go to Shaw? Why didn't you go to Matt Shaw? I also just feel like, for the last couple of weeks, we've been complaining about Matt Shaw. However, Matt Shaw actually had a good weekend. If there's any positives to take away from the series, Matt Shaw had a good weekend offensively, but he didn't play today. For whatever reason, I'm looking forward to see if Craig Counsell's asked about Matt Shaw in the postgame to let us know why he didn't play today.
Yeah, and I'm monitoring that because I'm also curious. Yeah. Because you have an off day tomorrow,
right.
So I'm not sure. So 2 full days off for Shaw, maybe?
Right. Especially whenever he was hitting well. So I don't mind them going to Brujan over Birdie in that scenario because neither one of them have been giving you anything offensively anyway. And I've said my piece about the two. I think they're both fast. They can steal some bags, and that's all that they've truly fully proven over the course of the season. Birdie had some decent offensive spurts in April, and it just hasn't been that way since. He did have a hit today, though, so I got to give him credit for that. But in that situation, I didn't mind them going to Brujan, but the overarching thing about the entire situation, Kevin, is that this team lacks depth on the bench. And we've talked about this. They need a right-handed bat.
Desperately.
I honestly wouldn't be mad if they added a left-handed bat too.
Well, I think we've done so much and talked so much about how this team needs pitching, right? And it's almost become a point of emphasis like, whoa, okay, we really need to find a way to beat lefties, and you really need to find a way to increase your depth on that bench because I know a lot of people are going to say lefty, righty, I'm fine with Brujan pinch hitting there. I'm absolutely not okay with Brujan pinch hitting there. He doesn't have a hit this month. He's 0 for his last 31. The guy cannot hit. He's got 5 hits in a Cubs uniform. He is a negative WAR offensive player. I don't know if he's a negative WAR defender. I'd have to look into that. I don't have the numbers up in front of me, but he's a negative WAR player. He's actively hurting you offensively. And quite frankly, he was given an opportunity today, and Craig did what he had to do, right? He gave him an opportunity to go in there and play. And like we've seen time and time again, he continues to fall through.
I said on the couch or on the chairs, this is an opportunity for Vidal Brujan to make it on the roster past August 1st. Because as I said, if that inning wasn't telling to what this team needs from an offensive standpoint, then I don't know what else to tell people who are complaining about whoever in this chat, in this case, Vidal Brujan. And Ian Happ came up right after and struck out on like 4 pitches. Ian Happ's been better here in June. He's hit really well. He had a great series in St. Louis. It was a tough strikeout to look at after everything that happened. I'm not necessarily mad at Ian Happ for striking out. I'm more mad at the fact that Michael Busch didn't take advantage of an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm more mad that we don't have anyone on the bench that we can feel confident in to come up in a situational spot. Outside of, I guess, not even theoretically, Justin Turner has been good in situational spots, but obviously he started today because we're playing Justin Turner against lefties. That's a problem, right? And we've talked at ends about all that too. So to me, that 7th inning just emphasized how much they, A, need a right-handed bat, and B, need more depth on the bench because they're not getting anything from anyone on the bench outside of Reese McGuire right now.
Right.
Maybe you should have gone with Reese McGuire instead of Vidal Brujan, but then you won't have a backup catcher on the bench if Kelly somehow gets hurt or something.
Which is why that move
Which is why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So it's just a very frustrating way to lose, and that felt like the one inning that if they were going to make a comeback, that was the inning to do it, and they just didn't do it. And I'm not, in general, I'm not worried about the offense. The offense the offense was awesome this week, but against lefties, they really have struggled, not just of late, but over the last month or 2 months. Right-handed pitcher, they got a righty yesterday, and they did pretty well, yesterday. So it's just really frustrating the way that we're not getting anything out of anyone on the bench. Justin Turner, listen, I defended him for a while back in like early May and all of that because it was early. But, we are almost to July, and he had a hit today, but just we're not getting anything out of him.
Nothing. They're not getting anything.
And what I mean by anything, we're not getting consistent, we need some extra base hits. He hit a double on Friday, so I give him credit there, but we need more in his situations, and we just aren't getting it.
I don't think Justin Turner is at risk of being cut just because of the back of the baseball card. I think they'll hang on to him. I think he has a much longer leash as much as he has really struggled this season. Mm-hmm. The thing for me that does not make sense, we got to hit our ad break here in about a minute, but the Vidal Brujan thing has to be over now. It has to be over because, listen, he's fast, and that's it. He doesn't play that great of defense. He doesn't hit the ball. He's not an elite base runner. He's fast. He can steal a bag every once in a while. But you know who else can steal bags and provide you a depth piece on the bench and play multiple infield positions? That would be your top prospect, Matt Shaw, who should be in that role for the 2025 Cubs. If you are going for it and you want to win these big games against big teams, that's Matt Shaw's role when the games get bigger. Yeah. Matt Shaw can still play third base. He's been great there. But if you upgrade that position and move Matt Shaw into Brujan's position, your team is so much better.
Yeah.
So much, because Matt Shaw can do everything Brujan can do, and he can also hit a little bit more.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Yeah.
The Vidal Brujan experience has to end. It's got to be over. It's got to be done. Yeah. Done.
We're going to talk about Jameson Taillon in the next segment, but first, let's get to our sponsors.
Let's do that, shall we?
Hey, baseball fans, if you're thinking about upgrading your drive this season, Toyota's 2025 lineup is definitely worth a look. There's the RAV4. It's versatile, reliable, and always ready for a little adventure. Grand Highlander, plenty of room, super comfortable, great for families for long road trips. Looking for efficiency? The Corolla's got you covered. It's smart, stylish, and easy on gas. Summer starts here. From adventures to weekend escapes, our versatile lineup is ready to ride with amazing deals to match. So visit your local dealer and find yours today. You can check out the full lineup at Toyota.com or stop by your local Chicagoland Toyota dealership. Toyota, let's go places. And as always, it's a perfect time to become a CHGO diehard. Get all the exclusive written content, a free t-shirt, plenty of discounts on future merch, and events like the Friday 120 rooftop event at Wrigley View this August, plus access to the CHGO Discord lounge where we all hang out and talk Chicago sports and so much more. Go to allchgo.com for the latest information on how you can join the thousands of CHGO sickos in our community. We cannot wait to connect with you on an even greater level.
It's hot and humid in Chicago right now. Make sure your home's air conditioning is up for the challenge. Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years, and now's the time to get it checked out with Four Seasons experts ready to help you with installation, maintenance, and repair. Four Seasons expert technicians ensure you always get reliable service, and the best part is no more charges for service during nights, weekends, nor holidays. Schedule your Four Seasons AC tune-up today. Save $50 and enjoy a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee. Save up to $4,000 on new comfort systems with Four Seasons. New AC units, $39 a month. AC furnace combos, just $57 a month. Plumbing, electric, heating, or cooling emergency? Need a new hot water tank or generator? Call Four Seasons. Same-day installation, no extra charge for weekends or holidays. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com.
All right. In the chat, Alan says, Alan had a comment that I want to point on. Go scroll up, Kevin.
What do we need?
Keep going. Here we go. He says we blow people out once every 3 games and pads of stats. Come on, guys, be real. All right. Well, the Cubs did beat the Cardinals 3-0 to split the series on Thursday. That was a earned game, I would say, based for like a full team win. I would say. I don't agree with that at all. I understand. I will say this. Are they playing their best baseball right now? No, they're not. They just went 3-4 on this road trip, right? And I think you can point out one game from the Cardinal series that they should have won. They literally gave that Tuesday game away to St. Louis. They lost 8-7. That's the game that Pete didn't forgot how many outs there were. They should have won that game. They gave that game away, in my opinion.
Yes,
and then
they did.
This weekend, I mean, maybe this is the game that you can make an argument they should have won since they only lost by 2 runs. The Friday game, they lost because Cade Horton finally had a bad start, in my opinion. They scored 4 runs. Matt Shaw looked good in that game. I'm not grasping for straws here. We're 14 games above 500. I'm just being honest. Is it time to panic? No. But what I've been saying is that we've been seeing lately the flaws with this team and the needs that this team needs if it's going to take a step and actually be a real contender. All right. So let me lead that into what we're going to this segment. Jameson Taillon. Steven sent us another super chat in the first segment. Thank you. $5 Toyota super chat. Council lost the game by keeping vets like JMO in too long. Jed lost the game with a bad bench. It's neither men had any urgency. They better now. If neither men had any urgency, they better now. Okay, so Jameson Taillon, what was the 5th inning? He came back out there. I was getting roasted on Twitter because I said that he hadn't give up any homers because I thought he was done after 4. He had like 90 pitches after the 4th inning. I thought he was done. And honestly, I felt like he should have been. I think the reason he came back out there is because Council, like Colin Ray went 5 innings Saturday, and Cade Horton didn't go deep on Friday, so he used the bullpen a lot this weekend. Now, you had an off day tomorrow, so I guess there's room to criticize. Maybe you should have gone to someone earlier. Maybe you should have gone to Brazier earlier. So if you're going to bring Taillon out for the 5th inning today, I thought as soon as the 9-hitter got the hit that he did with Paredes coming up, that's when I would have pulled him. He somehow got Paredes, but then he didn't get Altuve. And it ended up being the difference.
Yeah, he just missed on a slider. I mean, JMO's slider was awesome today. He made one bad pitch today with that slider, and he hung it, and it ended up in the seats. I mean, Counsell just said the same thing. I mean, the slider was really good against righties today. He was keeping guys off balance, and it was thrown to the outside part of the plate, and it was doing a really good job of locating it. It just so happens you mislocated a pitch to a future Hall of Famer, and it ended up in the seats, and you lose the game. I thought overall, though, Taillon was fine. He hasn't, his 2 starts prior were not great. He wasn't amazing today. He wasn't efficient in the first 2 innings, but it's hard to beat good teams, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was going up against an elite pitcher, and I thought he did the best that he could, and it wasn't a bad outing. It's just not. It wasn't an elite outing, and we want elite so bad from guys who just aren't elite.
Yeah,
and that's not going to happen.
This is how I feel. All right. If you watch this show or listen to this show, if you have the last couple years, you know that I'm not like the biggest Jameson Taillon fan, but I understand what he is, right? I understand what Jameson Taillon is as a pitcher. He can eat you some innings. Mm-hmm. He's a good middle of the rotation, bottom of the rotation type guy, right? We know he's not elite. So whenever he was on that heater through May through the beginning of June, they got it when they needed it, when they didn't have Shota Imanaga, right? So I guess what I'm getting at here is, yeah, I tend to agree with what you're saying, Kevin. Like, it wasn't a great outing. It wasn't a good outing. I felt like he got lucky a little bit, especially in the first inning. Threw over 30 pitches in the first inning and somehow came away unscathed. Mm-hmm. I don't feel any different about him after today based off the 2 outings before either. And that's probably my frustration is I was hoping to feel a little bit more confident. He's in his hometown, back in Houston. I was hoping for maybe 6 innings, 3 earned or less. I guess he did 4 2/3 and less than 3 earned runs. Jameson Taillon's not the reason they lost today. The reason they lost today is because the offense scored 0 runs. If you score 0 runs, you will lose every single game, right? Like, if you don't score, you will lose, right? So as far as my current confidence with him, it really didn't budge any. I felt like he, in some of the innings leading up to the 4th, I guess he was a little bit more efficient, got some quicker outs, but I mean, he had 70 pitches after 3. And, I thought it was a bad idea to bring him back out there for the 5th if you're trying to win this series. So in many ways, I kind of agree with Steven, but I also understand that, Counsell's not thinking about, he's not even really thinking about Tuesday. He's thinking about down the road. Like, we know, we've witnessed many times, the more you use your bullpen, the more that like a domino effect can start to happen. So they used the bullpen a lot this weekend, but I also am a little frustrated because you did have an off day tomorrow.
I'm frustrated, and I understand everybody wants to point at, and you know what? You're welcome to that opinion to say Counsell screwed this game. I understand what you're saying. But let's be frank. You just ran into a really good pitcher and you lost because you couldn't hit against an elite pitching
I think
staff.
that's the overarching thing, is you just didn't score to him.
With Taillon struggling like he was today, I am not sure why he got the opportunity to face Altuve again. So I agree with a lot of people on Twitter and in the chat who are saying, why was Taillon not pulled? I tend to agree with that armchair analysis because Ryan Brazier has been so effective this year. He's been a lot like Brad Keller, thrown into dirty innings, clean innings, all over the place. He's kind of thrown in almost every inning, it feels like, every type of situation, and he's dominated. He's only given up 1 earned run in the month of June, and he immediately came in and made Cam Smith look foolish. I don't even think Smith put the bat on the ball. I think he swung and missed at 3 strikes. So that's hindsight's 20/20, right? I'm sure Craig would have done the same thing had he known that Brazier was going to come in and just dominate, but that is a complaint of mine. He probably should have known that, right? Like, Brazier has been so good against righties this year, and I'm not sure why he didn't get the opportunity to shut down the Astros' best hitter. I'm not sure.
Craig played with fire, and he wanted to get 5 out of Taillon somehow, some way. I mean, he had a season high in pitch count today. It's very rare where you see a pitcher for the Cubs go over 100 pitches these days.
Yeah, he let him ride.
Right? And I would have pulled him before he faced Paredes the third time. He somehow got Paredes, but he didn't get Altuve. So, Godfather says criticism. Scroll up, Kevin. I got to point it out because it made me laugh.
Sure.
Criticism of everyone except Ricketts and Hoyer. Same show, different day. Godfather, you've been here for 3 years, dude. How much complaining have I done? How much complaining did I do about Tom Ricketts in the offseason? I did plenty. They got plenty of videos up you can go watch. Jed Hoyer is given what he was given, and somehow this team is in first place. Give me a break, man. I just don't understand that one. I don't understand that take, all right? This team has issues. This team has issues. Every team in baseball has issues right now. Doesn't mean they're bad. So give me a break, all right?
This is exactly it. Niren said it. They're on a 96 win pace, guys. The Houston Astros are a World Series contending team.
3 months of luck.
The Houston Astros, for my money right now, it's going to be the Astros or the Tigers that wins the American League this year. They are a really good baseball team. There's no shame in losing. I know that the Cubs are kind of getting squeezed. They haven't had a series win against a winning team in quite a bit of time here. I get that. You know, they split with the Brewers because one game got rained out. I understand the frustration here, I really do, but they are on pace to win 96 games still.
Yeah.
Like, this is still a good team, and the trade market, you can't just go out and say, I want to trade for so-and-so when there's 6 or 7 teams still contending. I don't know how many times we have to sit here and say this. Yes, I want Eugenio Suarez on the Cubs.
Yeah.
But guess what? The Diamondbacks think they still have a chance, and they should, because baseball is full of variance, and it's a crazy sport that can change and alter at any time. So until they are for sure out of it, they're not going to sell. So it's not as simple as blaming Jed Hoyer and saying, hey, go out and get these guys when other players are not available yet. Mm-hmm. There are some teams that are selling, the Pirates, and we've heard all the rumors, but for certain position players on contending teams, they're just not available yet, guys. And I understand. We're both frustrated, right? Like, this was a series. It was a fun series, except for today. The first 2 games were fun. That's 2 good teams going.
There were
today.
positives to take away from the first 2 games. Yeah.
It's just now
hard to take any positives away from today.
Yeah,
outside of the bullpen.
Anytime you lose games and you get shut out, it stinks. But guess what? It's gonna happen, especially when you're facing really good pitching staffs. And I think now it's all about, what can you do to change it? And I think Jed has been pretty open and obvious, as open as he can, that he is going to upgrade the roster here in the coming weeks. They just have to ride it out until then.
Yeah. Okay. There's a few people asking why I keep giving attention to trolls. I mean, Godfather's been here since we started. Whether he's trolling or not, I genuinely believe he's just angry all the time, and I just let him be angry. So it is what it is. I'm never going to change his mind. I'm not even really trying to change his mind. It's just like, where are the moves? It's like, yeah, I think Eugenio Suarez makes a lot of sense for the Cubs, but the Diamondbacks haven't decided to sell yet, so we got to continue to find a way to tread water.
And a quick update from the NL Central foe up north. The Rockies got out of it in the 10th. It's tied up at 3 going into the top of the 11th.
And they had a lead,
So
too.
they did have a lead. Wild Pitch scored a run.
Of course.
So Wild Pitch scored a run, then they got a double play and a strikeout. So they're going to the top of the 11. Colorado, the 18-win Rockies, trying to keep the Cubs 2 games ahead in the NL Central. We'll see by the end of the show if it stays that way.
You know how sick we are to be scoreboard watching in June, Kevin?
It's frustrating, isn't it? I mean, and I don't view the St. Louis Cardinals as a team that's going to keep up this pace. They're playing really well right now. They are a fiery team, and you can't count them out. I think it's difficult because they themselves were sellers. They themselves didn't believe in their team this year, and they're just playing very good baseball right now. The Brewers are legit. They're going to hang around. They're going to be a pain in the neck.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got another break here, but obviously we got to talk about the story of the weekend, which was Kyle Tucker, Cam Smith, and Isak Paredes, that trade and the games they had. So let's talk to our sponsors, and we'll talk about that when we get back. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. It's a one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly created menu with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. It's Illinois' favorite dispensary with locations in the city, Wrigleyville, River North, all the way to the suburbs, and also Champaign, South Beloit. if you're not in Chicagoland. If you're starting out, Sunnyside has expert guidance and brands they know you'll love, like Good News and Mindy's. If you're a pro, they got you covered with over 100 strains on the menu and new ones added daily. We know that you'll love Cresco and Florcal's incredible quality and consistent products as well. So visit sunnyside.shop for Bright Buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Again, first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright Buys every day only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. For existing users, use promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Labs brand item.
Living in Cook County is great. We obviously have Wrigley Field. We got Lake Michigan. It's a beautiful place, especially during the summer. But overpaying for property taxes is something too many Cook County residents are doing. And if you haven't to be one of them, or if you have to be one of them, make sure you download and sign up for Own Well. Sign up in under 3 minutes, and their local experts and cutting-edge technology can start saving you money with no upfront costs. It makes it a lot more affordable, less stress, knowing what you are paying is fair. And also in Cook County, Own Well has a 25% contingent fee. That means you only pay if your property taxes are reduced. Now, put property tax money back in your pocket in just minutes, no stress or big-time investments. 86% of Own Well's customers receive a reduction. Local tax experts back cutting-edge technology and best-in-class customer support to save you money every year. No upfront cost. Save money in Cook County property taxes with Own Well. OwnWell.com. That's OWNWELL.com.
We pointed out some negative comments. I got to point out Shrewdly Done says Cubs lineup is nice, ebbs and flows, nothing to stress about in the series. So there's some people who aren't ready to jump into the lake. Even though a jump in the lake right now might feel good, but you get what I mean by that. This is the thing. I understand people's concern. I understand people's frustration. But I also feel like things could certainly be a lot worse. You know what I mean? We could be the Giants who just got swept by the Marlins and then lost 2 or 3 of the White Sox this weekend.
Who just got swept by the Pittsburgh Pirates this weekend, by the way? Oh, that would be the New York Mets, who have been one of the best teams in the National League this year. Okay. It happens, man.
The Cubs have beat all the bad teams.
Yeah, and they're playing 500 ball against the good teams.
I agree. They got to be able – it would be nice to win a series against a team that's above 500. But let me point this out, all right? You didn't lose a series to the Cardinals. They are above 500. You split with them. That's not losing a series. And then the last week, they technically split with Milwaukee because one of the games was rained out. So you didn't lose that series either. Should you have probably played better against Seattle? Yeah, I agree. And you lost to Detroit and you lost to Philly. Well, those are good teams. You're right around 500 against teams above 500, like most teams are. And you're beating all the teams that you should beat. So, upcoming schedule, you got Cleveland for 3 this week, who just got swept by the Cardinals, and then you got the Cardinals at Wrigley this weekend, and this upcoming weekend, July 4th weekend. That'll be a big series, especially for standings, if you're looking at the standings here in early July. Minnesota and the Yankees after that, before the All-Star break. So, I think you want I don't think anyone wants a spin zone because everyone's angry. But if you want my spin zone is I'm just happy that the 26 games in 27 days are over, Kevin. Mm-hmm. Because I think that's because of playing 26 games in 27 days, there were multiple games throughout this stretch where Craig Counsell, quote unquote, punted. You know what I mean? I don't think Craig Counsell punted today's game. And Justin Turner and John Birdie had hits today, so whatever. But there was a game against Philadelphia that I felt like Craig Counsell punted. They had a chance to win that series, and he didn't put the best lineup out there, and they lost that game. I think they lost that game 7-2, so it didn't end up mattering. That bad pitching performance that day. But there were a handful of games over this stretch where I felt like they quote-unquote punted just because want to save the bullpen, want to get some guys some rest because you're playing 26 games in 27 days. So, no, I know most of you don't care, but I do think that it matters, especially leading up to the All-Star break and having guys fresh down the stretch. It's just this is a marathon, as they say, of a season, and I'm not trying to convince y'all otherwise. I do think that is important. So.
Shout out to Chicago Dude 8888. 2016 Cubs 31-25 versus teams above 500.
Okay.
And this year, the Cubs are playing around 500 ball against those teams, probably 1 or 2 on. I don't know what the exact record is. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I don't really care because it's still June and they're still in first place and they're still a really good team.
Yeah.
They just have some holes and some things they need to figure out. And you know what? I understand the negativity. I get it. It's a long season. You get frustrated with certain losses. I get frustrated with certain losses. I don't get frustrated losing to the Houston Astros and Framber Valdez. Everybody's been losing to Framber Valdez. He's awesome. He's a great pitcher. He's an all-star. He's great. The Cubs need to go find all-stars of their own to fill that pitching staff.
Evil Wax says, if you told me the Cubs were going to lose Steele for the season and Imanaga for almost 2 months, I would have never guessed they were still in first place.
Thank you, Evil Wax.
That's a good way to look at it.
Spin zone. Love it.
Alan says we heard the same story with David Ross with the schedule and then missed the playoffs. I mean, that team was not nearly as talented as this team. If we're talking about the 2023 Cubs, that team, in hindsight, they probably should have sold the deadline with that team. But, you know, they tried. They didn't even fully try. Jed Hoyer didn't believe in that team. And they didn't have enough depth either. There's a very big difference between that team and this team. So, and one of the reasons that this team is significantly different is because Kyle Tucker is a Chicago Cub, Kevin. Mm-hmm. Kyle Tucker, he had a double today. 0 for on Friday, but obviously, do you have 4 hits Saturday, including the 3-run homer to help give them an 8-2 lead at the time. It was either 7-2 or 8-2 at the time. I think he had a good weekend back at his former team. Did he have the revenge series that I would dream about? No, but I think he showed out well, and I'm sure Astro fans, even though they're good, I'm sure that they're on the other side. They probably still wish they had him. As much as Cam Smith has been good too, 2 homers this weekend. I felt like all 3 members of that trade had decent weekends, and I don't really know where I'm going with this, but we can start with Kyle Tucker and.
Well, I think it's important to talk about, right? Because this was the biggest trade of the MLB offseason. The Cubs made a very aggressive push here, and they traded a guy who has had a very up and down season. Let's call a spade a spade. Yes, Cam Smith is batting .280 right now, and he hit a couple home runs in this series, and he looks like he's going to be a solid baseball player. I don't know what his ceiling is yet.
Yeah.
I know what Kyle Tucker is.
Yeah.
A superstar player who is in MVP talks and is going to hopefully round out your lineup for the next couple of years. Hopefully they pay him. But listen, man, I think you just tip your cap and you be happy for Cam Smith. Does it suck that they had to move on to trade a guy like that? Yeah. But the Astros are not an organization that you are going to play in trades. They are not. They knew what they were looking for. They have a highly advanced scouting regiment. They have so many guys. They are a heavy analytics team. They knew exactly who they were trading for. And that's why Cam Smith was circled, and you had to give him up. I'm sure Jed didn't want to give him up. I'm sure that they tried to trade other guys away. You know, especially right now, there are some good prospects in the Cubs minor league system, but Cam Smith would far and away be the best one down there right now if he was still playing in AAA ball. Regardless, I don't think we can be mad about the trade, and I'm not mad about the trade. I understand some people will look at it and say, oh, the Cubs are, you know, if they don't re-sign Kyle Tucker, it's a complete waste of a trade. And I totally get what you're saying. I don't tend to agree with that. I think it does make it important that you need to re-sign Tucker for the way Cam has looked the last month or so.
Yeah.
But if the Cubs go and have a really successful playoff run and Kyle Tucker has a great run there, I think it ends up working out for both teams. I really do. And you know what? If the Astros wanted to get younger and they did, and I don't know. I think it's a trade that works out for both teams.
My counter to that, and I don't fully disagree, but I do disagree.
Sure.
All right. My counter is if Matt Shaw doesn't eventually get to where we want Matt Shaw to be, then it was a complete and utter misevaluation by the Cubs to trade Cam Smith instead of Matt Shaw. Now, to counter my own point, the Astros might have not even been interested in Matt Shaw. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know. But
it seemed like Cam Smith was the guy they wanted, right? Remember when the first couple rumors started to surface with John Heyman? It seemed like Cam Smith was mentioned in every single report that I read. Like, he was the guy they wanted. They saw him, they're like, wow. And their GM said, we think this guy can be an aircraft carrier. I remember that quote, and I was like, I've never heard a GM describe a player like that before. That's pretty high praise for a kid who hadn't played a single inning in Major League Baseball yet. And look, I mean, he's playing well. He's playing well.
Yeah, Brennan Miller our good pal, he sent a tweet on Friday, I think probably after his first homer that he hit of the series, said, it's hard to ignore the obvious. Cam Smith's bat has been extremely impressive. I'd guess Cubs internal evaluators are a bit surprised he's producing this quickly. 277 batting average with a 122 WRC plus and 257 plate appearances at that time. That was before Saturday when he hit another homer. I'll put my hand up, and maybe I'll eventually be wrong. It has been a half season. We haven't seen a whole season play out. We haven't even seen him play for multiple seasons yet. But I said at the beginning of the year that if the Astros really went into the year with Cam Smith after like 30, like less than 50 minor league games, that they were going to ruin his development of sorts. And I think the beginning of it was a struggle. They just let him go through being a young player, like the Cubs are letting Matt Shaw be a young player, and all the other like guys they did like with PCA last year. Like the Astros let Cam Smith go through that, largely because they just didn't have anyone else to play right field. And now he's I wouldn't say the power has significantly arrived. He's 2 homers this week, and he's got 7 for the season now. We'll see where he's at by the end of the year, but I am surprised that at least he's got like he's a 22% above league average hitter, okay? And that's why I kind of disagree with what you were saying, Kevin. If they do not extend Kyle Tucker, and Cam Smith is doing this in year 1, and they have 5 more years, to me, unless they win the World Series, Kevin.
I was just going to say it's the
unless they win the World Series.
It's the Kawhi Leonard thing.
Yeah.
If they trade for him and win it all, it doesn't matter. And if they don't extend him. Do I want Kyle Tucker? Yeah, absolutely. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
It's going to be hard for me to be okay with that trade if A, they don't extend him and they don't win the World Series this year. The plus side, I think they're a World Series hopeful right now. Once they make these moves that we've been talking about, I think there's a different conversation to be had. And I'll say this for anyone's looking for optimism related to that. Kyle Tucker's been saying all the right things of late. He said just at the end of this week, I think right before they went to Houston, there was some quote that he said related to like, this team is set up for years of success ahead or something like that. Like, it seems like he wants to be here. The question is are the Cubs willing to do whatever it takes to keep him here? And history says, based off what the market probably is going to be out for him for, history says no. But if there's any pro that I take away from Cam Smith having a good series, is that Tom Ricketts has to realize that we gave up a ton of talent to get a guy like this, and Kyle Tucker has been the main catalyst to why this offense has been so good.
Mm-hmm, no
How
doubt.
can you not do whatever it takes to bring him back? I don't know. That we have all off season to count down to whether he's going to be a Cub or not, and my Delulu will let me believe that maybe they can get something done in season. That's my own Delulu. I understand that it's delusional, all right? But this series, the pro for me related to Cam Smith is the fact that this puts on more pressure for Tom Ricketts to give Jed Hoyer the okay to go and make a real competitive offer for Kyle Tucker to be a Cub for a long time. And Kyle Tucker's saying all the things, he's posting things on his Instagram story that's pro Cubs, like he seems like he's really enjoying Chicago and he's really enjoying playing baseball for the Cubs. All I have is social media and everything he's saying to the media. That's all we all have, right? At the end of the day, though, Kyle Tucker's going to go most likely where he feels, A, he's going to be happy, and B, whoever is willing to give him the most money. Mm-hmm. So I understand the detractors to everything that I just said, the people who will detract everything I just said because of the money thing. But if there's any pro from the series, it's that to me.
And Kyle Tucker was great in this series.
Yeah.
He didn't have, an awesome day today, but he still had a double.
Yeah.
Yesterday was obviously great. Game 1, heck of a throw from right field to get, I forget who he got. Was it Paredes out at home, I believe, on that absolute strike from right field in the first inning? Kyle Tucker's awesome. He's the player you want to build around. And, I know people are going to say, why are we talking about extending Kyle Tucker? Because this is the team he came from. This trade matters. It matters to this year's team. It matters to the future of the Cubs. And you're right, Cody. I tend to agree. I think that you got to make a competitive offer, and they will. I wonder what those numbers will look like.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to go 10 years, well, what's wrong with offering him 6 or 7 years for $450 million? Like, I don't care if you're worried about the years because those 10-year contracts never age well. If you're worried about that, then meet him in the middle somewhere with a high AAV. There's got to be ways around this. But either way, Kyle Tucker had a great series. It was good. Houston faithful gave him a really nice round of applause. I thought that was very nice. And Cam
Presley,
Smith,
too.
Yeah, and Cam Smith had a great series, too.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be for now, it's a win-win for both sides. Both teams are World Series contenders.
Can certainly change in 6 months. So
one last ad break here. We'll come back here on CHGO Cubs.
Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake is kicking off summer with big savings, Kevin, all month long. Come in today to shop the summer sales event and drive home with $10,000 off MSRP on new Chevy models. Check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories, you're sure to find the perfect vehicle for you. Plus, Ray's Price Promise lets you shop confidently because the price you see is the price you pay. You see for yourself. Visit our partner at their convenient location right now on Route 12 in Fox Lake. And don't miss out on their summer sales event going on all month long for $10,000 off MSRP. Again, $10,000 off MSRP on new Chevy models. All right, shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive!
So everybody likes Milwaukee. Nobody likes the Brewers, but Milwaukee in the summer, great place to visit. Let's talk about your next weekend escape, Cody. Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee has everything you need in just one spot. Table games, slots, thousands of them, ready to refuel. You got tons of amazing restaurants and bars to choose from, all near the ballpark over there and near the campus of Potawatomi Hotel Casino. Whether you're feeling fancy, just want a quick bite, they've got you covered inside the hotel. You don't even need to leave the property. Stay in style. Book a nice luxury room there as well. Just steps away from what many call the Midwest's best sports book. Heading to the ball game this summer, start your day right at Pato, and then hit the sports book. Then head right over to the game. It's all right there. Super convenient. Milwaukee's got a full summer lineup, concerts, festivals, sports, you name it. I said, it's one of the best summer cities in the country. Pato's the perfect place to start all of your weekend events in Milwaukee. Potawatomi Hotel Casino Milwaukee. Your win is waiting. Go check it out.
It's the only good thing in Wisconsin. That's a good transition because Rockies 4, Brewers 3 post the meme of the guy from the Brewer, the PCA hit that homer too. One of my favorite memes. Yeah, with the cutoff,
cross arm. Yeah. Brewers lose. Cubs still 2 games up. So all of the people who are freaking out in the chat that the Cubs were only a game out, nope, they're 2 games up. Yeah. So everybody just
Cardinals gained a game today, but next weekend will be huge. July 4th weekend, Cubs, Cardinals. It's going to be, and especially coming off the game where Wilson Contreras almost decided to take on the entire Cubs roster. But anyway, I think based off the lot of reactions in the chat, the Brewers just lost to the Rockies. Cubs swept the Rockies. That's a game that Brewers fans are absolutely pissed off that they even had to go to extra innings against the Rockies.
So the Brewers don't have that easy of a schedule coming up. They got the Mets for 3, and they play the Marlins. But then the Dodgers.
Okay.
And then the Nationals. The Nationals aren't a great team, but they have and highlight some really good pitchers. The Brewers are struggling offensively. They're not a great offensive team. So, listen, when you're playing a single-A team at home and you lose a game like that, when especially they had to lead the whole game, I believe the Rockies scored all 4 of their runs in the last couple innings of the game. Yeah. Just goes to show you, baseball's weird, man. Baseball's a weird sport. You're going to lose games to bad teams every once in a while. I think for the most part, the Cubs have limited that. And they're someone put in a good chat here. I got to find it. It was, Brian Shields, 9th series loss this season to a winning team over 500. Yeah, would you like a couple more wins in there? Sure. But you know what? That's baseball,
Again,
man.
like, they played the Cardinals this week. They split. They didn't lose that series. They had every chance to win the series, and that game they lost 8-7. That's frustrating, right? Mm-hmm. And that points to the fact that they just haven't been playing their best baseball. I'm not sitting here saying they've been playing good baseball. That's for sure. But I think their flaws have certainly been pointed out by needing a right-handed bat, and they need to upgrade in starting pitching. And we knew that going into the season. That's the thing, is that we knew that. So the fact that we've gotten so close to the All-Star break, and they're not like, I guess right now in the moment they're treading water, but they played so well in April against good teams, mind you, and then played so well against teams that they should beat in May. Now it's been a mix of good and bad here in June, and some bad stretches from the offense and some bad stretches from the pitching. And you're not getting consistent production from all the guys you were getting in April and May right now. And that's frustrating. And that's where I am with everyone in terms of frustration and all of that. But that doesn't mean that they're a bad team. Like, come on now. So,
and you are what is kind of promising, though. Let's talk about some positives in this series. Nico Horner. Matt Shaw.
Let's start with Matt Shaw. Matt Shaw had 2 hits, 2 doubles on Friday. I think 2 RBIs in that game. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad.
He had 2 extra base hits in that game, and I think it was 2 or 3 RBIs. Yeah, let me check.
He drove in. Yeah, it was 3 runs because his first double drove in 2 runs, and then the 9th inning double that he hit drove in 1 run. Now,
3 RBIs for Shaw, 2 hits.
Yeah, he drove in 3 of the 4 runs the Cubs scored on Friday. Now, I might have said. Well, I don't think I said it actually, but I thought the last 2 games against St. Louis, he started to hit the ball a little harder. There was one, I think in that last game against St. Louis on Thursday, he hit a line drive right to Nolan Arenado with the bases loaded.
Yep.
And I was like, God, he hit it hard, but right at someone, which is frustrating. And they would have won by more than 3 runs if that ball gets through.
Well, Arenado, he had to jump up in the air a little bit too.
Yeah, I know.
It was a really nice
great play, right? But the point is that, you know, a lot of fans in the chat, and even me, I think this has been the biggest thing because he like ranks near the bottom in like exit velocity in baseball. The last couple days, Matt Shaw has been hitting the ball harder, and I said that I wasn't grasping for straws for a lot of things in this show. Matt Shaw right now, I'm grasping for straws, dude, because I need to see some form of improvement to have any confidence in him. You know what I mean?
What kind of improvement? Like offensively improvement?
Like hard hit baseballs.
Like,
man.
do you think he's not a Major League Baseball player right now?
No.
Okay.
The defense is there. The defense is elite.
The only reason I say that is because I think there's a lot of people right now who are like, send him down. He's not ready. I totally disagree with that. Matt Shaw is totally a Major League Baseball player. He's totally ready to play Major League Baseball. The bat is struggling right now because he's one of the youngest players in the league. So that's why I said for this version of Matt Shaw and this version of the Cubs, go out and get a veteran third baseman that can hit better and use Shaw occasionally at third, but have him in that bench utility role because that's what he's best suited for right now. It doesn't mean I don't think he's going to be good and I'm not going to send him down because I do think he has shown that he can hit Major League pitching. It hasn't been great. You know, the WRC plus still well under league average. But the defense is there. The base running is there. He's stealing bases. He's playing at a Gold Glove level, by the way. Those aren't my words. That's the voice of the Cubs. Alex Cohen has said that multiple times. He said that on the Cubs podcast on Marquee this week. So Matt Shaw showed a lot of progression this series. He hit some good pitching, extra base hits, hitting the ball hard, had a decent road trip.
Had a good day on Saturday, too. And that's why I was a little annoyed that he wasn't in the lineup today. And especially with an off day tomorrow.
And I'm not seeing. I don't know if anybody asked that question. I haven't seen any reaction from Craig yet.
Eventually go and maybe watch the Council post game after the
Chad,
show.
if you guys have seen that, put that in there. If Council talked about that, because I'm also curious. You know why he wasn't given an opportunity today.
How much time we have left, Kevin? Before we have to go to overtime.
We have
6 minutes. Okay,
6 minutes. We're good.
Vanilla Chill brought up a rumor that came out this weekend about Ke'Bryan Hayes, and so. Can you bring it up, Kevin? Is Vanilla Chill, scroll up. He just sent it.
Yeah.
There it is. Brian Hayes' rumor says a lot about how the Cubs are viewing Shaw at the moment. With Hayes, if you're trading for him, he's here until 2031. And
which is why I don't think they're trading for
Brian
Hayes.
It's very interesting. And you want my tinfoil hat theory?
Yeah, I do. That's what we're here for.
I don't truly feel like this is going to happen, but if Brian Hayes is going to be a Chicago Cub, the only way I see him coming to the Cubs is if Paul Skeens is coming with him. Because the Cubs would have to give up so much to take on Hayes' contract on top of getting someone like Skeens. I truly don't believe this, but it's like the only way I feel like the Cubs would even be into Brian Hayes is because they're trading Shaw to the Pirates, and they're going to sell the farm for Skeens with we're talking multiple other pieces. Now, I don't think it's actually going to happen. I don't think it's a real thing. Again, it's a tinfoil hat theory. I don't think it's a real thing, but I can't put my head around like why they are talking to the Pirates about Brian Hayes, because Brian Hayes is probably the best defensive third baseman in baseball, or up there as far as defensive run save, outs above average. But this guy has an OPS under 600. It's the same thing with Shaw. And Brian Hayes got a contract extension a few years ago, and he has never taken off with the Pirates. So I'm truly not sure what the Cubs are seeing with Brian Hayes. And the only reason I would think that maybe he would be coming to the Cubs is part of a trade that takes his money, and the Cubs are sending a bunch of dudes to Pittsburgh, including Matt Shaw, for Paul Skeens. It's a wild theory, I know, but I just don't see the Cubs wanting to trade Matt Shaw. You know what I mean?
I don't either, but I will just say this: the Brian Hayes thing doesn't interest me at all, and talking about just Skeens in general, Jeff Passan said he's not getting traded, so
I know.
But I stood on this podcast 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe, saying there's no way Craig Counsell becomes the Cubs manager.
Yeah.
I said that.
Yeah.
I said there's no way he's leaving Milwaukee. He's a Milwaukee guy. However, let's just call a spade a spade. I don't know why the Cubs would want to downgrade at third base.
Yeah. You would get the same defense, but the offense has never showed up.
All right. Matt Shaw, 1.0 WAR player this year. Brian Hayes, 0.8 WAR player this year. Matt Shaw, 2 homers. Brian Hayes, 2 homers. OPS plus for Matt Shaw is 79. OPS plus for Brian Hayes, 64.
Yeah.
Why would you want to downgrade at third base?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't
make sense to me. I think there are other rumors with the Astros that do make sense. I do think the Cubs have always liked David Bednar, man.
Yeah.
They've been mentioned in Bednar trades since we launched. I
2
feel
years
like they've
ago.
always been a fan of him. I think there's smoke there. I think there's a lot of smoke around. There's some pitching, the Mitch Keller thing. I think there's a lot of smoke there because it's an affordable deal and a guy who can quite frankly eat innings because he's a durable right-handed arm. Jed Hoyer loves durable arms, and the Cubs need some stability in that pen and starting rotation right now with the injuries that you've sustained this year. So I think there's some smoke with the Pirates for sure. Keep Brian Hayes, and if they trade for him, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Brian Hayes makes more sense for the Tigers, who have been mentioned as a trade partner as well for a third baseman. So you can miss me with the Brian Hayes stuff. I'm good. I don't need that.
I believe we have a minute and a half left.
Yes, we do.
I believe we have an off-day show tomorrow, so we will talk more about trade rumors with Luke tomorrow.
And yes, Evil Wax, I meant Pirates, not Astros. Sorry. Yeah, I got Astros on the mind. I was talking.
Yeah. So make sure before we get out of here, hit that like button. We got 35 likes. How many people we got in here, Kevin?
We got 125.
If y'all can hit the like button here on the CHGO Sports YouTube channel, subscribe to the new channel if you haven't.
Please
Cubs,
do.
Overall, to wrap my 2 cents about the rest of the series, we got 1 minute. My 2 cents is that it's a frustrating series because you lost to another good team as far as a series loss. But the sky isn't falling, and just the flaws with this team were magnified again, and the Cubs are going to need to make moves, whether that's Eugenio Suarez at the deadline or before the deadline, whether that's getting a right-handed or a left-handed a high leverage reliever. Obviously, a frontline starter, another innings eater, depth guy. You know, there's so many things that this team still needs. They're 14 games above 500, and that's a good thing. So,
what time's the show tomorrow, Cody? We got a few people.
I am not sure. I want to say it's at 1:30. So
okay. Off-day show tomorrow.
Yeah,
so.
Off-day show tomorrow. Thank you all for tuning in to the CHGO Cubs podcast.
Thanks, guys.
Hit the like button. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.